He doesn't take the Kevin Chevel day off.
Oh, boo!
He's got balls, and he's also got beef. Luke Schenn joining the Winnipeg Jets, and listen, he might need a little beard and balls bundle.
You never know.
Where would he get that though? Where would you go if you needed to look after your facha and your dancha?
It's just fudge.
Yeah.
Manscaped.
That's right. And the promo code Dangle will get you 20% off and free shipping internationally. Because Luke Schenn is crossing international borders, don't you know?
Yes, he is. Not for the first time.
Manscaped.com/dangle. Now, Luke Schenn, you are a Winnipeg Jet for a second and a fourth round pick. The second round pick is next year. The fourth round pick is the year after. Not bad business for Kyle Dubas. Great business for Kevin Cheveldayoff, who's still looking for... Kiss it what?
Kiss it.
Oh, because Kyle Dubas is having a good day?
Adam.
Kiss it.
I'm not going to kiss
Adam
it. I'm not
is
kissing
the
it.
number one.
I'm not kissing it yet. He's still got to draft
As
him.
the number one.
You can't do this to me.
Apologize.
The number one Kyle Dubas hater. You must apologize.
You still have to make those picks, Kyle. I'm going to cut a promo on Kyle Dubas. You still got to make the picks, Kyle.
You don't want a problem with me, Kevin Durant? Listen, I want
to fight him in a parking lot.
I want to point out what a good job Dubas did here. I'm going to beat Adam to it because I know you were.
I'm jumping to
just
it, but
about
fine. If you got to take it, I guess.
So here's what the trade was a couple days ago, and this one was weird, and a lot of people didn't get it. Someone called it really stupid. So Luke Schenn, no, it wasn't me.
Oh.
Another Italian guy. Luke Schenn was traded from the Nashville Predators with Tommy Novak to the Pittsburgh Penguins for Michael Bunting and a fourth-round pick in 2026. That trade, from Pittsburgh's eye, right now, is a second and a fourth and Tommy Novak for Michael Bunting, who is the highest-paid player in that deal, and a fourth-round pick. So the fourth-round picks are a wash. My theory that I said a couple days ago, I think the Penguins are going to try to flip Tommy Novak.
Yep.
And I think you should. It's a seller's market. Sorry?
Leafs.
Hey.
Centerman.
He would fit.
He'd be great.
He'd fit on a bunch of teams. There are a bunch of teams that are about to swing and about to miss. And why the hell not? Why not get... I bet with the way things are going today, dude, you just got a second and a fourth for Luke Schenn. Dumoulin was a second and essentially a third. Who was the other? Anthony Beauvillier went for a second. Could you get a second for Tommy Novak?
I don't see why not.
You could push it.
Well, I don't think you could get a first,
You
but
could
I
get
do
a
think,
third plus.
I think you could get a second and a third.
Man, like, it's possible. So listen, I know this is about the Winnipeg Jets and the guy they just got. Luke Schenn is collecting Canadian teams like Infinity Stones, but really good selling deadline for the Penguins.
Jesse, I want to ask you about the Winnipeg Jets because, you know, as Jesse likes to point out, Connor Hellebuck always comes up short in big games.
Yeah.
So is this really just protection for Connor? Because you know that once you're in the Four Nations final or the first round, you know he's going to turn to Jello.
I don't know if this is time for fraud corner. Because I think this is a good deal for the Jets. You know, this is exactly what you want. You want depth. I hope by the time this is over and we're doing our wrap up that they get a forward in this.
They need a center. Yeah.
They need some sort of forward depth, but like having Luke Schenn on your team for the playoffs is a good idea.
He's a monster.
Yeah, and like they're already really good on the back end. This just strengthens it even more because we know come playoff time there's going to be injuries. We don't know who's going to be healthy down the stretch. And you can always plug them in and swap them whether you're doing on the third pair or the second pair. Like you can find a place to use Luke Schenn. It's good.
I think it's interesting that the team with the most points in the NHL right now is a team where, like, you know, they really need to get deeper.
Every team needs to get deeper. They're never deep enough in the National Hockey.
The Winnipeg Jets have had a phenomenal regular season, but this can't be a first round and out team again. It can't. It simply cannot. Steve, Luke Schenn in this lineup, where's he fit?
Well, so I'm looking at it right now. Josh Morrissey, Dylan DeMello, Dylan Sandberg, Neil Pionk, Logan Stanley, Colin Miller. Luke Schenn next to Logan Stanley would be really funny because I'm trying to think of another time in Luke Schenn's career he was the second biggest player on his D pair. I don't know if it's ever happened, and if it has, it wasn't for a very long time. Maybe did he ever play with Keith Ollie? Do you remember Leaf legend Keith?
Oh yes, I do. Yes.
No, really good depth pickup for the Jets. I'm having trouble figuring out who to take out of the lineup, and I'm like, well, maybe he's just their extra. I don't think they paid a second and a fourth to have Luke Schenn sit.
Yeah. Well, and Luke Schenn, according to Josh Yeo, he said he told the Penguins, I want to play for a contender. The Penguins did actually really want to keep him. Interesting. Like I want to make it about the Leafs for a second. The Leafs paid a third and a fifth for Joel Edmondson last season. Mm-hmm. I would imagine, my personal opinion, I'm a bigger fan of Luke Schenn than I am of Joel Edmondson. It seems like this is pretty fair value for both sides. Like, this isn't Anthony Beauvillier for a second. This is a pretty solid deal.
No, you know exactly what you're getting with Luke Schenn. He's won a Stanley Cup. He doesn't need to score ever at all. And you have guys like Morrissey and Pionk. And no, he's there to do a very obvious job. Keep the front of the net clear.
As if the playoffs were to start today, the Winnipeg Jets would be playing the Calgary Flames. Right now, there's a 32-point differentiation between those two. Wait, is it 32? 22. Haha, that's different.
That's still pretty big.
That's pretty big.
That's pretty big. It's not as big as 32, though.
But the Winnipeg Jets defense is starting to look more and more like rock and sock and robots. We'll see if they get that forward that Jesse mentioned that they need. SDPN trade deadline coverage continues.